too late for you to shift gears, and I may be able to force some kind of favorable hostage frame or capture otherwise in my home traps c3 and f3.
So, I was just thinking, you could maintain the symmetry as well by moving the gold elephant along to f4 and thereby threatening exactly the same captures. So if the camels were to be exchanged, the only difference would be, in the two players' positions, would be that silver has an advanced dog. Am I reading that wrong?
No, that looks very interesting. Sorry, I didn't even consider that because that's not the way I tend to play. But yes, and the camel trade would be very interesting in this position.
Yes, and that would give gold a slight advantage. I mean, that last possibility.
What, because you would have exchanging camels?
Exactly, you would have the threat of exchanging camels, plus you would have a hold on the dog.
So do you mean that the advanced dog would be a disadvantage for silver?
Yes, and it seems to be right now. The dog is trapped between elephant and camel. It can't move.
Well, yes, of course, we just had 8G, and so, of course, we're doing our debate a little bit pointless, since the symmetry has now been well and truly broken. As you can see there, as Patrick just said, that dog does appear to be trapped. However, it doesn't mean that silver can't get some advantage of his own. Just by taking one step west with the elephant, he could freeze both that camel and horse, and maybe pulling or pushing the camel out of the way, he could attempt to save the dog, while still having that horse looking very unprotected out there by itself. But there are so many in this position, I have trouble keeping track of them. Meanwhile, gold has got to think about what's going on in the east, because that camel is looking very menacing. I mean, you'd only need 4 steps to flip that horse out, or indeed drag it towards his f6 trap, which is what we've just seen on 8s. So what do you think about that analysis, Fritz?
I was looking at that move for 8s, and I quite like it. Of course, gold can accept the trade of a dog for a horse and be behind. Otherwise, if he wants to decline the trade, only his elephant can save his horse. So if his elephant were to come to the f5 square and allow his horse to retreat once, then silver would be able to save his dog. And I'm not exactly sure how the tactics work out, but I'm afraid that silver would end up in a slightly better position. I'm not sure, but I think looking at it, I mean, I think gold has to at least try that route. Gold can't so easily accept the disadvantage and say, yeah, silver, I'll take a dog and give up a horse. And if he doesn't give up the horse, it has to be the elephant that saves it. So I'm looking at elephant to f5 and the horse retreating from g5 to g4.
As I said, I don't think it would be in its best interest to accept that trade. I think the most prudent course of action would be to go save the horse with his elephant.
Yes, well, my gut instinct is I don't like that really, because already we see the gold elephant seemingly overloaded. The gold elephant has a lot to think about. He's got to protect that horse, which is now frozen and threatened with capture in f6. And he's also got a camel and a horse, and it's still unclear whether they're an asset or a liability in their current position. Do you think gold is getting a bit overloaded here, Fritz? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that in a tactical sense. So it may be that because gold now has to waste time saving his horse, that silver will be able to get something happening tactically. Strategically, it's not that the gold pieces are misplaced strategically. It's just that there may be a timing issue of silver having some tactical threats here that gold might not be able to quite respond to effectively.
Yes, well, I think, we've just had 9G, whereby, as we just discussed, gold is not going to take the bait. He's not going to go for a horse and dog exchange. He's going to save his horse there. A quick straw poll. How important is it if you're a dog for a horse down? Does it make a big difference? What do you think, Patrick?
Oh yes, I think it's very important. Losing a dog for a horse right now is, it says at the beginning of the game, I think it would be maybe not decisive, but very important. It would be a handicap for Adanac Greg to accept that.
Yeah, Fritz?
Yes, well here it would be much worse than ordinary, or than in some other positions, because the gold horse was anchoring the G3 square, which is quite valuable. So after the trade, silver would not only be up a horse for a dog, he'd also have his horse in the G3 square, which makes the disadvantage hurt that much worse. So it would have been quite difficult for Adanac to regain his balance after that trade.
Yes, so gold is clearly embattled already, whereas chessandgo has an awful lot of possibilities. What are silver's options, would you say, Fritz?
Well, silver would love to get his horse onto the G3 square. As I say, that's fairly valuable in this situation. However, if he moved it there, it would be hanging. He would lose it in one turn. So he can't move the horse directly there. And gold will very likely want to use one step on 10G to get the gold horse back into the G3 square. So silver may be thinking, what sort of tactics can I do in the west, knowing that gold will only want to use 3 steps to respond with his elephant, and will use one step to put his horse back into position on G3. One move that I was looking at is sidestepping with the silver dog from C4 to D4, and then using the silver elephant to push the gold camel into the B5 square, and that is in fact what has actually happened. So threatening both the camel and the gold cat behind the C2 gold cat, and knowing that if gold takes all 4 steps to respond to the threat to his threatened pieces, that the gold, that the silver horse would be able to retake the G3 square.
Okay, so gold decided to threaten a cat in response to his possibility of losing a cat. I don't know if it's a fair trade, though.
Well, I found 10G very surprising, both for the fact that it was played, so from its speed. I mean, I think we can see Adanac's caliber there. That he's come up with such what would you call it? It's a very energetic response, very attacking. Clearly not phased by chessandgo's attacks just yet. So yeah, we come back to the issue of the exchange, and whether or not silver will take it, whether or not he should, whether or not it's good or bad for gold. What would be your assessment, Fritz?
My knee-jerk reaction was that the cat exchange would be good for gold, but as I look more closely, I think the silver elephant would be badly placed on C2. I mean, from C2 it could also capture a dog and a rabbit as well as the cat, but those it would be remaining out of the action when it was taking those, and gold could capture, in addition to capturing the cat, could capture the silver horse. So just a straight-up capture race is not going to work for silver. Silver will apparently have to defend here. One possibility for defending that is very tense, makes the position even sharper. It's already a very sharp position, but silver could raise it by moving his camel into the c6 square, taking all 4 steps to cross with the camel to go after the gold horse. And that would save everything from capture and weaken f6 while strengthening c6. So you'd have the situation become even more tense and up in the air.
If
How
you did
about
that,
elephant on c4 and dog on d3?
So dog
Elephant
on
on
d3
c4
and elephant down to c2, capturing the cat?
Yes, menacing the cat and later on the camel.
So you're
If you
saying
take
dog
my
to
cat, I
d3
take your
and then
camel.
pull the cat into the trap with the elephant, leaving the silver elephant on c4. Is that what you meant, Patrick?
No, put the elephant on c4 and the dog on the d3. So therefore menacing the cat and at the same time. Okay, it's a moot point now.
Well, yes. I mean, we've just had 10s, whereby the gold camel has been pushed into the c6 trap square. So yes, we've discussed quite a few things in the past couple of minutes. We were thinking about maybe leaving silver's elephant on c4 after the cat capture, which might have been an option because it would have frozen the camel, of course. Now we've changed gears. So right now, of course, gold's camel is threatened with capture, and so gold needs to do something about that. And it's very difficult to see how an attack up there will be successful with the silver elephant around. In the meantime, silver's horse is coming right down to the c3 trap, and it looks we have a horse and dog attack on our hands, and all the while gold's elephant looks increasingly distracted by the different things happening in different areas of the board. It's difficult to know which part to defend first. What would be your assessment of this position, Fritz?
Well, gold has taken the b6 square with his horse, which is very desirable, but gold has no way of keeping the silver elephant out of the b3 square. So we have attacks that have gone through each other, gone past each other. Adanac and chessandgo have played several of these games this year, in which both sides concede the corner to the opposing horse. The difference being that Adanac has the camel in his as part of his attack, and chessandgo has a dog as part of his attack. Now, Adanac probably is unhappy with the position of his elephant right now. He would rather have his elephant either participating around c6 or around c3, where it could make more immediate threats. But otherwise, gold can consolidate, and the move I was going to suggest is exactly what has come out. And now silver, to keep up the pressure, would probably want to pull the gold horse out of c6 and occupy it with his cat on 11s. And then the gold elephant will be able to come home to c6. And we'll just see how the attack evolves, because with the gold consolidating here and with silver then pulling the horse out of b6, as I expect on 11s, then we'll have a situation where neither player is immediately poised to make captures around c6 and around c3, and the position will will become more strategic rather than being tactical.